Hey guys, I'm so happy to have you back. Hey guys, good morning. I hope you're having a shitty day. And welcome to another episode of Another Shitty Day podcast with Shiddy Bill. Today, I am with my new friend, Bertha. She's going to be sitting in, and if she has any comments to make, then I will get her opinion and her 2 cents, and maybe she will be back sometime, but for now, we're going to enjoy her while she's here. And today we're going to be talking about a series of unfortunate events brought to you by yours truly. You see, last week was Earl Jr.'s birthday, and we've been getting along and we've been thick as thieves. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to call up Uncle Randy. We're going to plan something big for Earl Jr. this year. So that way he can't ever say, well, we don't do nothing for him. So I call Uncle Randy and he comes over and we're throwing a couple down and we start talking about what we're going to do for him. And he says, "Well, they just opened up a new strip club about 2 hours away, and everything is half off every day. And you know me, I love to save me a couple dollars." So I was like, "Okay, well, there's the plan. We have it, sealed. That's what we're doing. We're going to the strip club." And it is called Club Pocket Rocket. Didn't think anything of the name. I just assumed that it was because everything was half off, and it was a pun. So we get everything together, and I grab a couple cases of beer, grab some snacks for the road. Uncle Randy bought about 12 pairs of underwear, and he didn't explain why. He said it's better to have them and not need them than to need them and not have them. So I took his word for it. Well, we went on down to the road, and we go on over to Earl Jr.'s house, and I'm honking the horn, and he comes out, and he has one of them banyards across his chest that says "Birthday Boy," and he was in there celebrating with Rebecca. She had done made him a cake, I guess. So we said, "Get in. Go pack your bags first. Come back out here, get in the truck. We're going on a boys' road trip, and it'll be the first one we've had in a couple of years." And I had a good feeling about it. Everybody's getting along great the last couple of weeks, and yeah, that's just all there was to it. So he goes inside and he packs him a little bag and grabbed him a couple beers, and he comes out to the truck. He gets in and automatically starts demanding that he sits up front. Him and Uncle Randy start hollering at each other, and he made Uncle Randy cry, and Randy got in the back and said that he never gets anything he wants, and he immediately grabs my phone and he starts flipping through the stations, and he said it's his birthday, he gets to pick. So I didn't want to have any ruckus in the car, so I let him pick. And he was playing that fella's music that's named after a dog. I think it was Pitbull or something like that, and picked his little album he wanted to play, and he said that's the only thing we're listening to the whole road trip. Had about 7 songs, and we was gonna flip through it the whole way. Not my kind of music, but I let him have it. So we start up down the road, and he wanted to stop over at the gas station and grab him a big gulp, and so we Went into the gas station. I grabbed a couple scratch offs. Got me a couple of energy drinks. Got to stay focused and alert for the road. And we get back in. We filled the truck up with gas, and we're on our way now. Keep in mind, I don't know anything at all about this place. Um, we're driving, and Uncle Randy kept on just shitting himself. I mean, there's nothing else to it. He was shitting himself, and I'm starting to think that that might have been why he was needing the extra britches, because he needed to stop every 30 minutes, which really made the trip a lot longer than it needed to be. And he kept on taking a pair of boxers in with him every time we stopped. So that had to have been what was going on. Anyways, none of that matters. We finally get to our destination. And what we pulled up to absolutely blew my mind. And honestly, kind of pissed me off just a little bit. But it wasn't about me, it was about Earl Jr. and his birthday. What Uncle Randy had got us into was next level. And I've told myself I'll never forgive him for this one. He's done a lot of shit, but this one was the majors. Tell me why my uncle got me to drive him and my stupid cousin all the way to Club Pocket Rocket for it to be a little people strip club. And that was why everything was half off. Half off the clothes, half off the price, half off drinks, half off the person. It was little micro people throwing themselves around on the strip pole, shaking their asses for a couple dollars. Earl Jr. he went straight to the bar. He started throwing back some tequila shots, and he got that liquid courage in him, and he said he was going to get himself a dance. So he volunteered me that I was going to get me one too. So he took us into the special rooms, and out comes two little tiny dancers. On the closer, tiny bed. Anyways, I was paired with a little short lady named Cinnamon, and he had, what was her name? I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. But let me tell you, this lady had the biggest ass and the biggest forehead that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm just there trying to get through it. I'm ready to go. This is about Earl Jr. He's having the time of his life. I look on down yonder. Uncle Randy is throwing every last dollar he has on stage and telling every little stripper that he sees how much he loves them. I look over and Earl Jr. is crying and screaming at the top of his lungs about how it is the best day ever. And then when he goes back home, he was leaving Rebecca and finding him a little lady. And when he gets to talking like that, you just got to let him do it until he figures out the hard way. Well, they finished up their dance, and I was getting a little bit hungry, and I wanted to get them another beer in me, so I went to the bar, and I'm ready to order. Well, a couple minutes in, I'm waiting on my food. Here comes Uncle Randy. He sits down right beside me. He says, "Bill, please, I never ask you for anything. Please loan me $50." And I said, Randy, what the hell you need $50 for? I know you just got paid the other day. You got your Social Security and all that. And he said, Bill, you don't understand. I met a woman. I met a beautiful woman. She told me that if I gave her $50, she was going to do something strange to me for that little chunk of change. And he starts talking about how he's going to marry her and how this lady and that lady, and how he starts talking about how all the strippers love him and how he's getting married after this, that he's found the one that he's going to be with for the rest of his life. And I said, Randy, you do know that they get paid to tell you anything you want to hear so that you give them your money. He said, no, no, no. It's not like that. Pepper would never lie to me. I know her like the back of my hand. I'm going to give her this money. She's going to get a little bit freaky. And then we's going to the chapel tomorrow. And I tried to argue with him, but unfortunately, there is no arguing with Uncle Randy or Earl Jr. They are one and the same. They think all the ladies love them. So I said, all right, I'm going to give you this $50, but this is the last time you ask me for money. I'm not loaning you nothing else. I gave him the $50. Off he went. He stayed gone for a little bit. I ate my food. I'm sitting there. I'm watching the show because they had the little ballerina dances and all that. They had a tightrope walker, and then they had the ladies on the poles. And honestly, they put on a hell of a show. I was very impressed. Earl Jr. is just going absolutely buck wild, spending his whole life savings. I mean, it has to be with how much money I saw him just throwing around. Bertha, what you think about that? How would have handled dealing with my stupid family? And if somebody tried to take you to a little person club, how'd you handle it?
What would I do if somebody tried to take me to a little person club? I would tell them to fuck off. No way.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Well, I started getting a little bit frustrated, and I didn't want to end the party abruptly or anything. And they're having the times of their lives, and I can't take that away from them two fellas. They're hard workers. They typically don't ask me for nothing when they're not in jail. Um, I went outside. I was gonna get in my truck. And I was gonna grab me a cigarette. But when I got out to the truck, my truck was gone. Well, it wasn't gone. It was in the process of getting gone. Let me tell you that. Because there was a big old man out there, and he had it hooked up to the back of a tow truck, and he was getting ready to tow it off. And I said, "Sir, what are you doing with my truck? I have it parked legally. It is insured. There's nothing wrong with this truck." And he said, "Well, that man with the gray curly braided hair, he told me that he sold me this truck. He saw me out here. He said, 'Hey, I'll give you this truck for $500 if you can get it to me today.'" And I guess that's he was trying to get it out fast. And he had went into my glove box, found the title, and signed it as me to this man. He was taking the truck either way. So now I'm pissed. Blood is boiling. I go inside. I find Uncle Randy. And I said, "Get your ass out here. We need to talk." He said, "Bill, I can explain. I'm going to give you every last dollar that I got to my name as soon as we get back home. But Pepper needs the money. She's trying to go to beauty school, and I'm going to put my woman through it."
Are you or somebody you know stuck in the predicament with no way out?
Did you cheat on your girlfriend and don't know what to do about it?
Well, you're in luck, buddy pal, because you can call the Shitty Advice hotline and talk to the hotline voicemail because I don't actually answer it. But I will play it on an upcoming episode of the podcast.
And he'll give you his best advice.
Shitty Advice with Shiddy Bill.
That's 615-680-9453.
That's 615-680-9453. If you need shitty advice,
Call
call.
Shiddy Bill.
That's right. Bye.
I said, "Randy, she don't love you. She don't know you. She don't know your last name. She's taking for everything you got, and now for everything I got. Come on outside, because the only way we can get this fixed, is by you coming outside, and I'm gonna stomp your ass." So he comes outside. I didn't even wait until he get fully through the door, and I decked him right in his mouth, and he went down crying, begging and pleading about how I was going to be his best man at his wedding at the chapel tomorrow. And I'm livid. Here comes Earl Jr. He comes running. He tackles me to the ground. He's trying to get me under control because I'm ready to unsubscribe Uncle Randy. He said, "We're family. He'll make it right." So I stayed outside and I let them do their dumbass shit until it was time for closing time. And I didn't think anything of trying to get us another ride home. That was the least going through my mind, the last thing going through my mind. Well, it turns out I left my charger in the truck. My phone's dead. Earl Jr.'s left his at home, and Uncle Randy cannot find his. So now we're screwed. I ain't got no truck. We ain't got no money, barely anyway. We ain't got no phones, and it's closing time. Uncle Randy's trying to figure out why Pepper's refusing to go with him, and she finally had to tell him that it was her job. So that means we got to start walking, either trying to find a phone or find somebody to give us a ride home. We're walking, and we've been walking for a long time. So got past. We made our way down yonder a little bit, and we found a little rest stop. And the guys needed to go to the bathroom, and I needed a drink. But I wasn't going to pay for them to have one. So I waited until they went in and did their business. And I pulled out $1 and I put it in the vending machine. Pressed me a button, gives me a drink. I popped the top, and then I noticed that there was something else in the vending machine. Another drink. I reached my hand in, tried to grab it, but it was jammed. I'm digging. I'm going as far into it as I can, and my arm gets stuck. Well, from around the corner comes this feller in a ski mask, and he says, "Give me your damn wallet." And I said, "You can't have my wallet." So he slaps me around a little bit, and he takes the wallet out of my back pocket. He takes off running. Well, Earl Jr. had just got done with the bathroom, and he comes out and accidentally trips this man. He drops my wallet, and he takes off. Earl Jr. grabs my wallet, realizing what had happened, and starts talking about how he knew the whole time and was waiting and baiting this man, and how he was going to be a bounty hunter when this was all said and done. And that's all I heard about for the next 45 minutes walking down the road, about how he was going to open Earl Jr.'s bounty hunting business, and him and E3 were going to take the criminals, and they were going to stake out, and they were going to capture them, and they were going to make money off of some bad decisions.
Making sweet tea last week and forgot the sugar. Yeah, just straight up leaf water. Hand it to my cousin. He takes a sip, makes his face, and goes, "Man, this tastes like sadness." I said, "Well, sadness is calorie free." He still drank it too. Proud of him.
And that's when I heard a truck coming by. And I stuck my thumb out, trying to capture a ride. I know, I hear you. It was a bad idea. You don't ever hitchhike and ask people for rides that you don't know. Don't ride with strangers if you're watching this, children. But I was desperate. I needed to get back home because I had work in the morning. So this man pulls over and he says, you guys need a ride? You need a ride?" And he's twitching. His neck's just twitching. And he said, "All right, fellas, y'all get in the truck. Where are you heading?" I told him, "Hey, we're heading back to Spring City." And he said, "Well, hell, that's where I'm going anyways. My name's Tweak. Happy to have you." And Tweak smelled just like Pall Mall cigarettes, dog shit, and burning rubber and chemicals. If you know, you know. And the whole time he's swerving, he's almost hitting other vehicles. Earl Jr.'s grabbing the oh shit handle. I'm holding on for dear life, trying to make sure that he don't fling us out this mud. And not a situation you want to find yourself in. But we was lucky to have him because he got us out of our predicament. We finally got back home, and Uncle Randy had it. He was he was saying stuff under his breath about how he was going to get us and how he was done with our shit, and he ain't ever going to talk to us again no more. And I reckon he caught him a video of old Earl Jr. talking about how he was going to leave Rebecca whenever he got back home for some little lady, and he sent it directly to Rebecca. So Earl Jr. gets back to his trailer and notices that all of his clothes and his belongings had been thrown out into the yard. He gets there. He starts banging on the door. "Rebecca, let me in, baby. Rebecca, let me in." And she's just flipping him off through the window and yelling at him, calling him a whore, and telling him he needs to leave. That she was going to call the law and he's going to go back to jail. So he gathered up his clothes and he starts begging, "Bill, please, please let me come stay with you for the night until I can figure this out. I know I put you through the ringer tonight, but please." So I did what any man in a situation like that where his cousin has pissed him off all night would do. And I said, absolutely not. So he goes down yonder and he starts begging Pawpaw to stay with him. Pawpaw tells him no, and he ends up going back to his trailer and sleeping on the porch. And Rebecca waited until they got good and asleep and went out there with the water, the water hose, and she lit him up and soaked him, and he stayed out there. almost drowning. But hell, it be like that sometimes, I reckon.